My name is Diego Echegoyen. I'm from Argentina, from Buenos Aires, and my artistic practice has a background in performing arts as an actor and as a contemporary dance interpreter. So I basically last years worked as a performer. And also I stepped into activism and cultural activism. So that lead me to a practice more based on street performance, trying to connect all these fields, performing arts, dance, and also activism. I lived all my life in Buenos Aires, and I moved to Brussels, where I'm based nowadays, since 2 years ago. So when I arrived there, I started walking the city, to know the city, and I started connecting this walking with the artistic research I was doing there about public space and how the public space regulations gives a certain shape to our citizenship experience. When I got invited, let's say, to this experience in Copenhagen and for mapping the city, I thought that it could be a great opportunity to keep developing this practice and to keep somehow having inputs about the practice of mapping, which I use in a very personal way, because the mapping is not my outcome, but it's like a tool that I use, in which I go from the walking, which is more connected with mapping, to the writing process, which is more connected with how I recall the experience of staying in public space. And then I go back to public space to bring this text, in this case, in the shape of a soundscape, but it also could be a text in which I am improvising. Well, what I did specifically in Copenhagen this month was to create a soundscape composed with sounds that I recorded from all over the city, and I brought all these sounds together to create a third space that is not Copenhagen, that is not Buenos Aires, that is not Brussels, that is not Rev Saloon. It's a space of, let's say, a bubble for to activate a new perception for the audience, with the aim to have a different approach to reality, to everyday life reality, to make it a bit more extra daily through perception. Well, I think that it's interesting because the principles that our society, the Occidental society, the Western society follows, are very rooted in the modern principles, and I think we are witnessing how these principles and how this system in which we live is are collapsing. So this work also raises up the question of the possibility of having a more sensitive, more sensorial experience of life. This program, Mapping the City, somehow invited us to stay in the city and to get in touch with it. I decided in advance not to research a lot about Copenhagen. I wanted to arrive here a bit like a virgin, and actually it was very surprising how the city is organized, and the different areas and the conflicts, the social conflicts that I observed, and I had the opportunity to get a bit in touch with because of interviews or because of whatever, and that was very nice, because I was working on the on how to overlap personal experiences of my life with collective experiences on the city I was working, which in this case was Copenhagen, and it was super interesting to find that social conflicts has lots of things in common in different places, no matter the different backgrounds. Well, I'm speaking about two specific things. The first one is the conflict I let's say took. It's a bit rude word, but it's the conflict with which I worked for the walk in Copenhagen, which was the regular demonstration that the collectives that used to inhabit the house of the youth used to make all Thursdays for 1 year and a half, and my own experience in December 2001 in Buenos Aires demonstrating in a riot that we had there in the economical crisis, very severe economical crisis. So that was one of the social conflicts, and the other social conflict is the one which I work with for the final trace of the residency, which of course is a social conflict, which is the drug addiction, but it's not that I'm an expert in drug addictions, so it's not that I worked with the social conflict, but I worked with what happened there in the area where this facility center for drug addicts is located, which is nowadays very in a long process of gentrification, and you can find like invisible walls, or a threshold to cross or not to cross, or a reality to see or not to see, and that's a social feature of the city. I think this residency in Copenhagen gave me, in first place, lots of resources. I think the residency also gave me time to invest in what I wanted to do, without the concerns of the rest of my life, my everyday life, which could be dangerous actually, because I don't believe that much in art detached from the experience of real life. Well, of course, what I will take with me in my future practices is completely connected with the outcome, with the things that I am giving value, that I obtained from this residency. Of course, a way of working, a way of organizing the steps, somehow finding the common points, the spots where every city get in touch with other, is a long process of learning, and maybe this one is one of the first steps, and it's very interesting and valuable to take it.